Hey guys, I want to do a very different video today, something that I've never done before, but this is part of my attempt to be a better YouTuber for you. I am mostly DIY, but it's so hard for me to post DIYs back to back because I don't have that kind of time. So I wanted to start introducing different types of videos. I've been doing my hauls, and I want to kind of put these little types of videos for you as kind of a get to know me. So these are kind of like my top 5 favorites of TV shows, movies, books, and the YouTubers that I watch and what I actually watch on YouTube. So what I want you to do is comment what your favorites are, because I want to know about you too, and I hope that you like this video. I will say that as a subscriber myself to some of my favorite YouTubers, I love when my YouTubers post videos. I freak out and I'm always like, yes, they did it, they posted, I'm gonna watch them. And I love when their videos are long. I don't know why, maybe it's because I get to spend more time with them, but I personally like it when the videos are long. Some people do not. So let me know how you feel and if you like shorter videos or longer videos. I may have mentioned this in some of my earlier, my other videos, but I always watch YouTube when I can be patient, meaning I'm in my pajamas in my bed and I'm chilling. That's when I watch all my YouTube videos. So these are actually my top 6 favorite TV shows, and this list does change because I go through, I'll finish a series and I move on. So this is just like my current list. These are not in order of favorites. Number 1 is Say Yes to the Dress. Really, what woman doesn't like this show? I will say that I have to take a break from this TV show because I start to get depressed. And so I have to stop watching it, and I have to take a break, and then I come back and I'm refreshed. That way I don't want to become bitter and be like, why isn't that me? So Say Yes to the Dress is one of my favorites. Number 2 is I Love Lucy. I know that this is probably a huge staple for everybody, but I want to give you my background on I Love Lucy. I have been watching her since I was 7 years old. I had a TV in my room, your typical 80s TV that did not come in color, and it had an antenna wrapped in foil, and I only got one good channel, and it just so happened to have I Love Lucy and Perry Mason. I do not like Perry Mason at all, but that's all that I got. I can basically say any line from Lucy, Ricky, Fred, Ethel, and even all the quirky little characters that come into the show. I have watched every episode probably, realistically, about 12 to 13 times each, if not more. My favorite episode, and this is in the course of my life since I was 7, my favorite episode was Kleptomaniac. A lot of people tend to love the chocolate episode and the smashing of the grapes episode, which are all very hysterical. I die laughing. But there's something about Lucy when she finds out that Ricky thinks she's a kleptomaniac, and Ricky brings in this doctor, and Lucy's like, all right, he thinks I'm a kleptomaniac, I'm gonna show him a kleptomaniac. And it's my favorite episode. Okay, and let's see, coming in at number 3 is RuPaul's Drag Race. It has been one of my favorites for a very, very long time. I follow many, many drag queens on Instagram. I don't know what my attraction is. I just feel like it's such a good show. These men are charming, witty, and I just think they're overall really good people. My favorites are Bianca Del Rio and Jinx Monsoon. Those are my favorites. So if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, you know who I'm talking about. And the most recent winner was Violet Chachki, although I was personally rooting for Ginger Minj. So I watch RuPaul's Drag Race all the time. And number 4 is going to be a very guilty pleasure. I don't know why I still watch this, but I do, which is Dance Moms. The worst part about liking this TV show is every episode is the exact same. The exact same. Abby gets mad and Maddie wins. There's no difference. Every episode is the same episode. But I still watch it and it's still good. Coming in at number 5, which I recently switched. It was Full House, but I took that out and now it's Gilmore Girls. I have suddenly realized that that's basically me and my daughter. We're like the Gilmore Girls. So I'm loving that show. Never watched it when it first aired. I just was sick this weekend, and I tend to like to watch TV series when I'm sick. That way I can watch the same thing like for hours upon hours. And I started in on Gilmore Girls, and I was like, oh, their life looks awfully familiar. And coming in at number 6, it's going to be Sex and the City. Again, this is not a TV show that I watched when it originally aired. I really at the time did not care for Sex and the City at all. It wasn't until I saw the movies Sex and the City 1 and 2 that I was like, ooh, I'm going to watch the TV show. So I have been trying to catch up on that, and I will say that I'm probably 70% Miranda and 30% Carrie Bradshaw, but Carrie Bradshaw is my favorite. I'm sure she's a lot of people's favorite, but there's something about the life on that show in New York City and the fashion. Even when I was younger, I don't know why. I always thought I was going to end up in New York, and I never did. So I think I identify with those women and my fantasy of living that exact same life. So, okay. Now let's go into my top 5 favorite movies. Now, this list is let me explain my list. When I watch something, I don't like to watch movies that make me feel bad, sad, or scared. Those aren't emotions that I want to tune into at all. Now, I'm not saying I don't express those emotions. I am sad and I get mad and all those things. But I don't voluntarily want to feel that way. So I stay very clear from movies that are like that. I can't stand it at all. It upsets me so much. So I like to stick to movies that are happy and funny and feel good. So a lot of these stem from my childhood and my younger adult years, and they have just been my staple throughout my whole life, and I think they always will be. So coming in at number 1 is The Goonies. The Goonies. Do I even have to explain myself? Something about that movie, probably because I watched it so much as a kid, it just makes me feel so good. The Goonies is about a bunch of kids who their home is being threatened to be foreclosed on because this guy wants to build a golf course. And so this kid, Mikey, thinks that he's going to find this buried treasure from this pirate One-Eyed Willie, and he takes his friends on this journey with him, and they actually do find this treasure chest in this really old pirate ship. In the meantime, there's a couple of escaped convicts who are Italian, who are funny, and they find out about the treasure, so they're coming after them, and in the end, they have enough jewels that's going to save the Goondocks from foreclosure. Coming in at number 2 is The Burbs. I love this movie. Tom Hanks, Rick McCummon, who recently passed away, which is very sad for me. He played Art in The Burbs. He is probably my favorite character in that whole movie. Something about the very end where he's like, oh, that'll teach a lesson to murderers and who think that they can mess with suburbanites, and frankly, we're not going to stand for it anymore. I just think that's hysterical. The Burbs has always just been a movie near and dear to my heart. I watch it probably once a week. I mean, sometimes I go months and months and never watch it, but when I get back into it, I repeat. I'm like a broken record for the things that I love. Coming in at number 3 is House Sitter. This movie has Goldie Hawn and Steve Martin in it, which are my favorite actors of all time. I love any movie that they're in. All of the movies they're in are just fantastic. But this movie is about Goldie Hawn, where she runs into Steve Martin at this restaurant that she waitresses at, and she finds out that he proposed to his girlfriend, built her this house, but she said no. So she finds out that this great huge house is sitting empty in this cute little quaint town, and she wants to experience what that life is like. So she moves out to this little town, moves into this house, tells everyone in the town that she's married to him so that she can get food and furniture, and she buys this dog, and it's hysterical. And then Steve Martin shows up one day to put this house up for sale, and he's like, what? And then he makes a deal with her. He's like, all right, well, I'll pretend to be your husband. You have to pretend like I'm a good husband, and so that I can get my girlfriend back. And then in the end, they fall in love. Okay, coming in at number 4 is Clue. Clue is basically the same concept and level as Goonies and The Burbs for me. I can watch it all the time. It's one of my favorites. Miss Peacock is my favorite of all of them because she is a lunatic, and I think that's hysterical. If you love Clue as much as I do, then I'm going to recommend this movie that you may not know about, and it's called Murder by Death. It sounds really scary, but it's not. It's very funny. It's very funny. It came out a good 20, maybe 30 years before Clue. And it actually has Miss Peacock in it, and she's so young and gorgeous, your mind will blow. Her name in real life is Eileen Brenneman, I think, and she also recently just passed away, which is very sad. But Murder by Death, I think, is where Clue probably stemmed from, and it's such a good movie. So watch that if you love Clue. Coming in at number 5 for my favorite movie is Sex and the City, both 1 and 2. The music, the outfits, the girlfriend talk, the drama, I love it. I love it all. Love it, love it, love it all. Okay. No, sorry. Okay, my top 5 favorite books. The very first one that I feel very strongly about is Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And maybe some of y'all's reaction is to kind of laugh or be like, oh, or some of your reaction is, oh yeah, that's a good book. If you haven't read this book, I highly, highly recommend it. I wish that I would have read this book before my last relationship. We're no longer together. But I feel like if I would have known as much as I did about men, I think my relationship would have been more successful. I don't know how many times women automatically assume that men think and should respond and react like we do. And men do the same thing. They think that we should respond and react the way that they do, but we don't, because you should read this book. And it nails women to a T, and it nails men to a T. And I think the problem with women is it's not that men are not smart, because men are very smart. They're just very simple. And we give them too much credit. We think that they're doing X, Y, and Z, but they're really not at all. We create so much more in our minds than what's actually really there. So another thing this book really did for me, and this is going to sound crazy, but it validated me as a woman. A lot of the times in my last relationship, whenever I would get upset or emotional or whiny or all those things that men find irritating about us, it talks about why we do that, and that's just how we are, and how men should respect that, and how they should respond when we're in that emotional roller coaster. And it just made me feel like, oh, I don't have to be guilty for being like this. It's because it's how I am. It's because this is how I'm wired. I'm a woman. And he does this, and he does X, Y, and B, X, Y, and Z because he's a man. And it basically talks about how men are like rubber bands and women are like waves, like ocean waves. You really should read it. I know that whenever I do decide to date, right now I'm on total lockdown, not dating nobody. But when I do decide to date, I feel like my relationship will be probably very successful because I have a better understanding of men. And I'm going to set better realistic expectations for my relationship. And I won't be so hurt and offended when men do or don't do things. Because if you read this book, you'll know why. So it's a must. Number 2 are the Aurora Teagarden Mysteries. This novel is written by Charlaine Harris. I talked about it in my June YouTube haul, my June Dollar Tree haul. It's written by Charlaine Harris. She's also the writer of Sookie Stackhouse series, which is also known as True Blood on the TV show. But Aurora Teagarden is nothing gruesome and sexual like that whatsoever. It's Aurora Teagarden is also played by Candace Cameron Bure. Wonderful, wonderful TV show and book series. Number 3 is actually a Mensa mind workout book that I have. Mensa is for geniuses, and I'm definitely not part of Mensa, but my IQ is in the highly intelligence bracket. And so I love doing puzzles. It kind of like tones me down. My eyes can't ever keep up with how fast my brain processes because I can type so very fast and I'm always thinking like this, like all the time. It never stops. And so doing these puzzles kind of goes, ooh. So I love it. I just lost my place. I don't even know where I'm at. I think I'm at number 4. Number 4 are these, it's this princess series books. It's a teenage section type of book, which is really embarrassing, but I love it. It's kind of like Hunger Games and Twilight and all that stuff, and I love those. I love it. I can't help myself. But this one's called The Selection. There's actually 3 or 4 books. The Selection, The One, The Heir, and it's written by Kiera Cass, C-A-S-S. It's basically a televised bachelorette, and they bring in all of these girls, but one of them gets to be a princess. And it's kind of based on the United States, but like so many years from now and how different it is, and it's a new world, and everybody's been divided into like caste systems. Like if you're in the 1s, you're pretty rich, and if you're 6, you're basically homeless. So, and she's like a 4. So they struggle and stuff, and it's a really good series. I would recommend that book. Coming at number 5 is actually not a very specific book, but it's an author, and it's Joanna Lindsey. This is a guilty pleasure. If you're a guy, I'm sorry, but Joanna Lindsey is a historical romance author. I love the way she writes, and I love historical romances. I think it's because men aren't the gentlemen that they used to be. And this book kind of takes me back to that time when men were more traditional. And I love the way she writes. So Joanna Lindsey is the best. If you want to start off with the book, my 2 favorites are The Joining and The Heir. Those are some of my favorites. Okay, now let's talk about YouTube and who I watch and what I like to watch on YouTube. Except I don't know where it went. Just makeup tutorials. I don't actually replicate any of the tutorials that I watch. Sometimes, but they're very natural looks. I will try to replicate, but I think I watch them because I'm intrigued by it, and it's just very interesting to watch, and I could just sit there and watch them all day. But I only watch certain YouTubers, and that's Nicole Guerrero. She is one of my favorites. I don't know why. I love her personality. I feel like she's genuine, and I tend to want to watch people who are just true to themselves. And the second YouTuber that I watch is Jaclyn Hill. She's very big. She has so many subscribers, and the way she does makeup is just it's mind-blowing. I mean, she's truly an artist. She's another one of my favorites. Okay, the third thing that I like to watch on YouTube are Dollar Tree hauls. The Dollar Tree is one of my favorite places to shop, and I'm always looking to see if somebody has found something that I could possibly want. So I could watch Dollar Tree haul after Dollar Tree haul after Dollar Tree haul. Now, coming in at number 4, this is going to be total left field if you don't know her, and if you do, but Trisha Paytas. My obsession with her is actually kind of not good. I have to watch her video every day. I have to watch a video of her every day, and I love her. Her and I are nothing alike, but I love how true to her to herself that she is. She seems like such a genuine person. She doesn't care what anyone thinks, and I admire that, because you can't please everyone. So you know what? I'm just gonna do me, and I admire her for that. She is very all about sexuality and her stuff, but I like watching her. And this is gonna sound bizarre, but she does this Taco Bell haul, and I think I've watched it like 10 times. I don't know why, but listen, I can't explain my obsession with her, but I love her. I follow her on Instagram and Twitter. Okay, coming at number 5 isn't a specific person, but I will say that YouTube is so important to me, because as a single mom, and I don't have family here to fix things and to figure things out, it's kind of hard to do, because they're like things that guys should do. And no, all you need is YouTube, ladies. Okay, story. In my last relationship, he traveled to Africa to go climb a stupid mountain, and he left his Camaro because we lived together. And I was like, I'm gonna drive it. But guess what? It's a stick shift, and I don't know how to drive a stick shift. So guess what I did? I YouTubed it. Sure did. And I learned how to drive a stick shift from YouTube. The other things that I do is like how to hang a hammock. I just hung a hammock by myself, but I YouTubed on how to do it, on how to fix holes in the drywall that happened in my last house before I moved out to this house. I did all that by myself. All you need is YouTube. It is like the answer to everything. So I probably watch more random videos like that on how to fix things, on how to do things around my house, than I watch really anything else. But Trisha Paytas is probably, she's up there. She's okay, she's number 1. Okay, I admit it, she's number 1. But that is my favorites list. Let me know what you like, what you come to YouTube for, and let me know again if you like my video short or long, because when Trisha Paytas puts out a 40-minute video, I'm like, yes! I get in my pajamas, I get comfortable, I get a snack, and it's like a movie. I just love it. So, I don't know. Anyway, hope you guys like this video, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!